Two of the top three situations for Bitcoin over the next 10 days is that it takes a big old dump. We're going to cover exactly what it'll look like in the chart behind me. We're going to cover those two at the end of the video, for which you have to stay tuned because I'm going to show you if I'm wrong with one of these top two scenarios, it would be the third most likely scenario play out where Bitcoin doesn't take a dump over the next 10 days. And I want to show you how price will move and what's one tool. You literally will need one tool to determine the exact moment that it's improbable that one of these two plays out. So are you ready? Let's get some Bitcoin. Let's start with this down here. Wen Crash, sir. Bitcoin will likely take a poo on one of these vertical bars here. If the 4 hour, so now let's go up to this section. One of these two EMAs will shove price below my origin line. If you don't know what origin lines are and you're new to my channel, just watch my last video, the one that says 14,000 something crash. I go over that and I've done it a lot on my channel. Origin lines they originated on my channel and you're not going to see them anywhere else on YouTube because I literally made them. And I stole the word from, what's his face? I'll think of his name a little later, but it was about 4 years ago he said the word and then I really took it and ran with it and made it my own. Anyway. So this origin line, this blue line right here, one of either red or white is going to shove it below. Now let's go over here. There are only three targets. Here, I'm not going to read it to you. Just look. 17 change, 18.4, which is a CME gap fill. And then total maximum destruction on a single move down without many bounces is under 15K. And this would be mid-late to late September in which sub 15K would happen. With a potential bounce here at the double bottom low, because a lot of people are targeting that, and that's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's going to be bought up to some degree unless whales are just shoving it through there, just getting ready to obliterate longs from that area. That's possible too. So the opposite of a short squeeze, essentially, it could really just plow through it all, potentially, as whales take on extra shorts because of the liquidity of the buys down here from people trying to play this. Anyway, so that is the overall situation and what you're looking at for the top two scenario. And I'm going to zoom in here in just a minute. So make sure the next part of this video, and you can use the tags. The next part is we're going to zoom in. I'm going to show you how price will move so you can be exactly prepared. And speaking of how price moves, are you a basic crypto biotch who checks Bitcoin price and crypto price on Coinbase, or you just have a blank chart? Well, stop doing that. For my Cryptillion YouTube tier and all Discord members, I provide my live moving charts with exact key levels, my sexy EMAs that no one else uses because I invented them, essentially my ribbons, short-term ribbons, so you can tell where resistance is, where Bitcoin will bounce, where Ethereum will bounce. I'm running both those charts live, so make sure you come to my channel, subscribe, hit that bell, and returning viewers, hit the damn thumbs up too. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for all alerts. So let's dive in and see. I'm going to zoom in to this part right over here with my invisible finger, and I'm going to show you how price will move in the situation that Bitcoin takes a dump around August 29th, which is tomorrow, or at the end of the week, market close Friday or Saturday. So let's go get it. I'm going to remove all this jazz. And now we're going to zoom in. I might go to the 15-minute chart to do this. Let's see here. All right. Let me clean this up just a tad. There we go. Situation number one. The 4 hour 10 EMA. So if crash sooner, right? And you already have the targets. We covered that at the beginning. This is simply zooming in. I'm showing you how price is going to move if this situation plays out. I think this is the second most likely. I don't know. It might be tied for first because the traditional markets, which essentially dictate Bitcoin's price movement to a large degree, because Bitcoin moves directly with it, right? S&P 500 particularly, NASDAQ mostly, and those two move together. The indices do. So they had a very rough market close on Friday. Very bad. I really thought it was going to find support at the daily 89. which is a purple line on my chart if for returning viewers, essentially support. And it had extra support under it with the weekly 10 EMA, the biggest, the most prominent indicator out of anything, even the price of gold, black market testicles, oil, doesn't matter. Weekly 10 is the big daddy of indicators, right? It's the most important single indicator out there. And price of the indices, so that the composite of all things on NASDAQ, the composite of all things on S&P, the S&P particularly closed below both of them. Both of them went under it. And it didn't even try to use it as a bounce. It went under the 10, bumped its head, and closed under it. Very bad close. So the reason why that is important for this a case where the 4-hour 10 EMA pushes price below this blue line behind me, which is an origin line. And again, you'll only find those on my channel. Tone Vays is his name. Tone Vays. I heard him say it in 2017. When he actually showed me what I call the master origin line. That's his name. I got it from him. So he made the word, but I ran with it, and I'm spreading it all over YouTube. Origin lines, right? So you won't hear it on it. So I didn't make up the word. I stole it from somebody. He just randomly said it back in 2017. He goes, it's like an origin line, and I don't think he's ever used the word since, but I do. All right. Anyway, Tone Vays. He was the original Bitcoin TA person on all of YouTube. Anyway. He's a sequential trader, which is a very strange way of trading. It's like the most rare way to do it. Anyway, the markets had a horrible close. So the 4-hour 10 EMA, this is the tool, the one tool you're going to use for the scenario that with a horrible market open, so getting back on track, horrible market close, daily close on Friday last week, that if investors / big hedge funds want to race to sell because of that, which honestly, it's not improbable. It might be my favorite scenario. Then on Bitcoin, it's going to be the 4-hour 10 EMA that shoves price below this blue line. It's that simple. It's an if-then scenario. I'm not saying this is guaranteed to happen. I'm saying it's one of the 3 most likely scenarios. And if neither of the top 2 play out, then I'm going to show you if I'm wrong. Which is honestly not being wrong. It's just the 3rd most likely, in my opinion, plays out, right? So I'm making 3 guesses, and I'm going to show you exactly how price will move and where it'll bounce, right? And what tools to use. That's what I'm doing. So let me make myself small, but that's the rationale behind it with all the other things in play, the context of how Bitcoin moves, okay? Very rough closure last week. Whales might race to sell on Monday, Tuesday, particularly, which could make Bitcoin fly down to, one of those immediate 2 targets like in a day. It could be very, very, very aggressive move. So until price, so here's how you manage this. Just literally throw on your 4-hour 10 EMA using it doesn't have to be by the same person. See FX Moss is down. It doesn't have to be, but just type in MTF EMA in your darn thing. Yeah, and there are other ones. See, there's one by Ripster, and then make it the 4-hour 10. You can make it purple if you want. I don't care. Pick a color and put it on your chart. Until price. So here's how you mentally think about this, okay? So start with in mind the sooner one. That, let's just call it the most probable scenario, the one you're focused on, until price is above the red line. Until price is above the red line, that's the only one you need to focus on, with the idea you already know what the other 2 are going to be in the back, but keep those in the back burner. Don't think of those as the most probable until price is above the 4-hour line, not on a wick. So you see how I've drawn in wicks here? It can wick above, and it actually will wick above, extremely likely. But if it starts using it as support and the slope of this 4-hour 10 EMA starts becoming positive and price is on top, that's when you move on to situation number 2, which I'm going to show you now. Okay, that's it. So for the moment, 4-hour 10 EMA until price is above it and bouncing on it, that's the one you're focused on, period. Very simple. And for the support, though, if you don't have my origin lines drawn, again, Discord members, I show you the exact coordinates and how to set these up on the Cryptillion tutorial section on Discord, and for all my 70 plus now YouTube Cryptillion tier members, I shared the link of that private video for y'all because I got a lot of requests for it. So you all can scroll down for all the post YouTube tier members and set up the exact line so you have this. But everybody else who is unfortunate enough not to be a Discord member or YouTube tier member, what you want to do is make a horizontal box between 19.6 and 19.8. So a $200 box horizontal, and you can use that roughly as your origin line. Okay, it actually might be more like 19.7 at this point. Yeah, 19.7 to 19.8. And so if the 4-hour 10 goes below your box, price is getting ready to get smacked down, and it's going to accelerate. All right? 19.8 to 19.7, a $100 range box with the 4-hour 10. Those are the only two tools you need until Bitcoin gets over the 4-hour 10 EMA and use it as support. And then you'll see the red line or whatever color you've made it, purple, pink, whatever, pick a color, and it'll get a neutral or positive slope. Okay. All right. Step 2. Here we go. The daily 10 EMA. I'm telling you this, you're not going to find any analysis on the internet that gives you such precision and just easy tools. Like what is the easiest way to understand what price is getting ready to do? I'm literally breaking that down for you. The absolutely easiest way. All right. Here is situation number 2. Hear my wife yelling at me from inside the house. All right. If crash later. All right. Let's get rid of this guy. If crash later, you simply use the daily 10 EMA. If it's crash later, that means Bitcoin will have gotten above the red line and it won't have resistance until the daily 10, but you also have structural resistance, and I have them labeled here. So until Bitcoin, and you can go ahead and draw these in, right, as you're concentrating on the 4-hour 10 EMA, but just make horizontals around here or draw a line around these areas. And if price gets above the red line, okay, before tanking below the box you've drawn or the origin line you have, if price gets above, that's roughly where it's going. And the timing of when the daily 10 EMA will shove price below this line, so essentially squeezing it down, is from the very beginning of the video. It's going to be Friday, September 2nd or Saturday, September 3rd. That's it. And it could be at 3 a.m. in the morning, when the order books are thinner and whales are taking on their shorts this old. So whales drive price into their shorts at this line, right? So the same people who would be crashing it are the same people who would be pushing it above because they want more time to take on shorts. That's only if they already knew, because they're the same people in the stock market too. The big players are playing with Bitcoin, literally. So if they know the play is not to sell off hard on Monday, Tuesday, which honestly is tied for the most probable scenario, if that, then they're going to want to take on shorts as high as possible, but they're not going to want to drive price too crazy high because then other whale players would come in to sell. So they have a small range, but they are going to want to shove price into their shorts as high as possible. And these are the two areas before a big drop so they can make a shit ton of money on futures, because they're the same people who'll be taking on shorts and then selling actual Bitcoin on spot. So that's called spot. You're actually selling Bitcoin, not a futures contract, not a futures contract. They would have their futures contract set up here or up here, and then sell actual Bitcoin on an exchange on spot to drive it down so they make money. That's it. That's the whale play. But that can only happen if the play on stock market is not to sell off hard on Monday and Tuesday because of the horrible, just atrocious Friday closure. And that's what it'll look like. Now, I'm going to show you what's going to happen if I'm wrong. All right, well, let's get it. Step 3. It's really quite simple. You're going to want this stuff still on your chart. If I'm wrong, you want the daily 10 EMA. So it's essentially step 2 or step 3 is price gets above step 2. So price will get above both the daily, the white line, and this, and use them both as support. Because if it starts getting above, this daily 10 will start wiggling up, and price will get on top of both this structural support over here, which I have labeled, and the daily 10 will start coming up, and price will be bouncing on both at the same time. So boom, get above the 4-hour 10, maybe come back and test this real quick to add to their longs, right? They'll drive price down into their long positions, then bring it up, and price will get above the top one and the daily 10, and it'll zoom back up. I mean, honestly, if that happens, I think this is the third most likely, but if that happens, I mean, Bitcoin would have a chance to get back into its chance. It could bump its head somewhere up here around 21 and change, 22, something like that. But you know, it would have a fighting chance to continue a rally. Fighting chance. It would. So at that point, if this were to happen, then we would originate another 3 most likely scenarios in which bumping its head on around the 22K range. Actually, I'll just show you. Let me show you what would happen. So let's go far out into the future. This is a loosey-goosey analysis because it's the third most likely, and then I'm going to show you like what things could happen, in the bullish sense here. So if that were to happen, so see this daily 10, let me zoom out a little bit. Let me make my dumbass small. Watch. This is why you'd have multiple scenarios. Let me take off the 4-hour 10s. We just have, so Bitcoin would have a lot of trouble. Let's see here. Unlock this. So it fell out of this range, that ascending range. You see that? Micro. Let me unlock that bitch. All right. It would have trouble at this ascending line, right? But let's go September 4th. You know, that's the weekend, to Monday, Tuesday. So that's roughly Wednesday. By Wednesday, if it were to do that and really start, you know, rocking and rolling, it would probably bump its head. That's almost 23K. And it would have a really hard time getting back above there. Roughly 23K potentially next week. If it were to get above the daily 10 in that third most likely scenario, it would probably have a lot of trouble there. A ton of trouble. But if it got above that, then it's going up to 28 to 30K. But in the third most likely scenario, that I would say it would stop its rally there. I really hope that you use these tools to guide you through what's going to happen in both altcoins and crypto and, you know, just overall price for everything, because Bitcoin is the king down. Bitcoin will drag everything down if it goes up. Bitcoin doesn't have to drag everything up. That's sometimes Ethereum, which is what just happened in August, right? Ethereum rallied 120-something% off its lows, and then altcoins were flying. Matic flying up, BNB flying up. Several coins really flew up. Some things like Solana didn't get pulled up. They just moved the Bitcoin variant didn't do anything, right? So these tools that I gave you, you know, you might want to rewatch this video, but I broke it down very simply and it will help guide you. I promise. Just draw these things on your chart, the boxes and the 2 EMAs, and you're going to be well settled. And remember, don't be a basic crypto biatch who just checks price on like Google or on Coinbase, or not Coinbase. Oh yeah, either on Coinbase or CoinMarketCap. Watch my live charts. I look at the charts so you don't have to, and you just go to my channel. And again, Monday through Friday during the week, they're only available to my Discord and my Cryptillion YouTube tiers. And so as you're seeing this video, they're likely up and running. Go check them out. Click this video right here. If you missed my last Bitcoin video breaking down the origin lines and the more macro sense of this crash, click this video right here. If you're pissing around with your money on futures and you're new at it and you want advice that you won't hear anywhere else, it can help save you a lot of money. Peace out.